Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a virus that is just incredibly common, often misunderstood, and here's the kicker, almost entirely preventable. We're talking about the human papillomavirus, or HPV. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's just start with a number to frame this whole conversation. 42 million. The CDC tells us that's roughly how many Americans are walking around right now with types of HPV that can actually cause disease. It is by far the most common sexually transmitted infection out there, and that fact alone is exactly why we need to understand what we're really dealing with. So the big question is, how did this one virus get so, everywhere? To get that, we need to first break down what it is. You see, HPV isn't just a single virus. It's this huge family, like a clan of over 200 related viruses. Think of them as cousins. And their strategy is really simple, which is part of what makes them so successful. They target the surface cells of our bodies, our skin and our mucous membranes, like the lining of the cervix or the throat or the anus. Now, this is where the story really splits in two. Because once an HPV infection happens, it can go down one of two totally different paths. And which path it takes all depends on which cousin from that big family you happen to encounter. So on one side, you've got your low-risk types. The main ones here are HPV 6 and 11, and they're behind about 90% of all genital warts. Super annoying, for sure, but they almost never, ever cause cancer. But then, you have the high-risk types. These are the ones we really have to pay attention to. HPV 16 and 18 are the most infamous of this group, causing the vast majority of all cancers linked to HPV. But here's something that's absolutely crucial to know, and honestly, it should give you some peace of mind. 9 times out of 10, our own immune system is the hero of the story. It sees the virus, it attacks it, and it clears the infection, usually within 2 years, with no harm done. The real problem starts when, for whatever reason, the infection persists, when it sticks around. So what is actually happening in that small percentage of cases where the immune system doesn't clear the virus? How does this simple little virus manage to turn a perfectly healthy cell into a cancerous one? Well, the mechanism it uses is surprisingly clever and pretty sinister. It all boils down to 2 viral proteins. You can think of them as tiny little saboteurs named E6 and E7. When a high-risk infection sticks around for years, these proteins go to work. E6 has one mission: find and destroy a critical cellular protector called P53. At the exact same time, E7 goes after another key protein, PRB, which basically acts as the cell's emergency brakes. So, with the guardian neutralized and the brakes cut, the cell just loses control. It starts multiplying and multiplying, piling up damage along the way, until eventually it becomes cancer. And to really get why taking out P53 is so bad, you have to appreciate its job. It's literally nicknamed the guardian of the genome. Its whole purpose is to hit the pause button when it detects DNA damage. It either fixes the problem, or if the cell is too far gone, it orders it to self-destruct for the good of the body. By destroying P53, HPV removes the single most important safety feature our cells have to prevent cancer. It's a devastating move. Now, it's really important to understand that this hostile takeover doesn't happen overnight. It is a very, very slow burn invasion. We're talking 5 to 10 years for a persistent infection just to create a precancerous lesion. And this long timeline, that's our window of opportunity. That's the period where screening can find and remove these dangerous cells before they ever get the chance to become full-blown cancer. And when we say HPV-related cancer, most people's minds immediately jump to one specific type. But the truth is, this virus's impact is so much broader, and it really does affect everyone. Just look at this chart. It really puts things into perspective. HPV is responsible for nearly virtually 100% of cervical cancers. But look what else is on there. It also causes over 90% of anal cancers and around 70% of throat cancers, not to mention many cancers of the vulva, vagina, and penis. So this is clearly not just an issue for one gender. Which naturally leads to the question that's probably on your mind right now. If this virus is so common and can be so dangerous, can't we just cure it? And the short, direct answer is no. But, and this is a huge but, that one word does not tell the whole story, not even close. While we don't have a magic pill to get the virus out of your system, we are incredibly good at treating what it does. We have fantastic treatments for the warts, for the precancerous cells, and for the cancers it might cause. So we're not fighting the virus directly, we're fighting its consequences. And we're winning that fight. And that brings us to the most empowering part of this whole story. We may not have a cure for the virus itself, but over the years, we've developed this incredible toolkit to stop it from ever doing any harm in the first place. The heroes have arrived. So it's really a multi-layered defense strategy. Things like safer sex practices, like using condoms, can definitely lower your risk, though they don't eliminate it completely. And quitting smoking helps a ton because smoking actually makes it harder for your body to clear the virus. But the two heavy hitters, the real titans of prevention, are vaccination and routine screening. And the vaccine we use today, Gardasil 9, is just a brilliant piece of modern science. It has no live virus in it at all, just a harmless protein that looks like the virus's outer shell. It essentially shows your immune system a mugshot of the bad guys, training it to recognize and destroy 9 of the most common and dangerous HPV types before they can even get a foothold. It covers the 2 main types that cause warts and the 7 types that cause the most cancers. So, how well does it work? Unbelievably well. It's estimated that widespread HPV vaccination could prevent up to 90% of the cancers caused by this virus. Think about that. We're talking about the potential to make cancers of the cervix, anus, and throat truly rare diseases. So that's where we stand. We have an infection that affects those 42 million Americans we talked about at the beginning, an infection that can cause devastating cancers. And those very same cancers are now almost entirely preventable. The science is there. The tools are literally in our hands, which leaves us all with one last pretty big question. Are we using them?